The Riverland flood crisis has claimed another victim, with the Kingston-on-Murray caravan park forced to evacuate overnight. The owners broken down in tears, revealing the cost of building the failing levee could send the business under.
It was a sleepless night for Barbara Colvert.
They just told us we had to leave.
She and husband Jeff own the caravan park at Kingston-on-Murray, which had to be evacuated last night amid fears the levee protecting it could collapse at any moment.
Just before the cricket started, I got a knock on the door and Ed, time to go.
An inspection of the private levee found signs of seepage, so authorities ordered the remaining 9 residents off-site.
I'm still in shock. Like last night, we just had no choice, just had to grab a few things and stayed at a person's place who had a spare bed.
This morning, locals pitched in, offering up trailers, machinery and places to stay for those left virtually homeless.
I'm confused, I'm angry, the SES are full of rubbish and don't know what they're talking about, and I'm fed up with government departments.
Oh, my heart's broken for them. It's just absolutely shocking.
Big shock. We were hoping it was going to be okay, but yeah.
It's the second caravan park to be evacuated in a week, while Blanchetown's is already underwater and the water's lapping at cabin doorsteps in Swan Reach.
It is so traumatic for all those concerned.
The owners had already closed the park temporarily to visitors a month ago, and they thought by building their own levee it would buy them and their permanent residents more time. They say their business is now at breaking point too. How much do you think you've spent on that levee?
It's broke us between $350,000 and $400,000, and it's from my...
Kimberly Pratt, 7 News.
As the River Peak heads for Blanchetown, shack owners are returning to make a last-ditch bid to save their belongings. But their home away from home looks very different now to when they left it just 6 weeks ago.
Returning to his shack in Blanchetown, Kyle Smith takes the usual roads, only this time it's by boat.
Never thought I'd be coming in via Tenny.
The last time his sons saw the place was in November, before the river consumed their grass and entire bottom story.
I mean, I've got cameras around the place that you see the water there, but until you actually see it with your own eyes, you don't really believe it.
It's really crazy to look at. It's so surreal seeing everything.
Should be here having a good time, you know, all the friends, few beers, get the boat out, but now we're just getting the boat out to get here.
With the peak now a day away from reaching Blanchetown, the trio's come to move the lounge and other furniture higher, fearing the river will soon infiltrate the top floor as well.
What the peak brings, I don't know, and just how high it'll go, I don't know.
Fortunately, much of Blanchetown is empty. Most residents have moved their belongings to higher ground and are living elsewhere. But that doesn't diminish the devastation. With 196 shacks here, all of them inundated, the cleanup will be astronomical.
It's disappointing with everyone who's been affected by it and the animals, but you know, we'll get through it together.
Though even once the river reaches its highest point, the anxiety will continue, with many not knowing the extent of their damage and if they can rebuild for months. Kimberly Pratt, 7 News.
As rising flood waters cut transport access, one Waikerie local has stepped it up for his community. James Copeland is running a makeshift ferry service, keeping people operating as normal, even in the crisis.
It's much smaller than the Waikerie ferry, but James Copeland's boat is proving to be a big help in town.
It's quicker than the ferry.
Since the ferry closed on New Year's Eve, he's been transporting people across the Murray to Taylorville and back twice daily, ensuring locals can keep working amid the flood crisis.
It was just community spirit, I guess. This boat lives in the river, and I thought it was the only one around that could do it. And so I thought, well, why not?
He arrives at 7:30 in the morning and again at 4:30 in the afternoon with spare life jackets on board.
Okay, everyone's safe.
Saving workers the hour-long drive around through Cadell.
This is a great service. This is taking us 5 minutes instead of an hour. So good on him.
It's pretty helpful. Get home to the family a bit earlier each night.
Without this service, I wouldn't be able to work.
And James is asking for nothing in return for this service, not even petrol money. But for those who are feeling generous, he has a bucket on board that's collecting donations for Novita, a charity that supports people living with a disability. James would usually be running green and gold houseboats, but it's been forced out of action.
We don't have a business at the moment. It's just static. It's check the boats, make sure the ropes are tight and the birds and spiders aren't doing too much damage.
So he says this is making good use of his extra free time.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
See you, mate.
See ya.
And users couldn't be more grateful. Kimberly Pratt, 7 News.